So I've looked at the word season, and per an etymology dictionary, it is defined as period of the year, proper time, or suitable occasion. Comes from the Latin sationem, which means a sowing or a planting, from the Proto-Indo-European say, which means to sow. And to sow means to scatter seed upon the ground or plant it in the earth. And I thought about each planet is likely seeded by the gods. And the particular god that is felt to have created the Homo sapien is Enki or Ea. And season or seasons can be rearranged into Ea's sons. And so I was thinking, sea of suns, like the sun controls the seasons or the cycles of the sea of suns, the sea of Ea's sons, us. Have a great day. I did look up the etymology, and I'll share that in a second. But before I go into that, the first thing I saw when I looked at this word is A post and L. A post for L, working for the demiurge, or Yahweh, Allah, Yahweh, the Archon, whatever you want to call it, the malevolent creator that is imprisoning us here and harvesting us for our life force energy. So when I looked into the etymology of apostle, it was not surprising that it means messenger. And it is especially when referencing the 12 witnesses sent forth by Jesus to preach the gospel. One interesting thing about the word gospel is it was originally Godspell. And the word apostle comes from the Proto-Indo-European apo, which means off or away from, and stel, which means put in order. So when you put it together that way, it's away from being put in order or off of being put in order, which would be create chaos, which is exactly what the demiurge does. Thanks for the suggestion. Have a great day. One word that I don't like to use anymore is understand. On the surface, the word understand is defined as comprehend or grasp the idea of. However, it comes from the words under and stand. Any etymology dictionary will tell you this. So when we look up the definitions of those words, reads a little different. Under means beneath, among, under the rule of, or subject to. Stand means stay, stand firm, or occupy a place. So you're standing under someone else's authority, standing under the rule of someone else, standing firm beneath someone. Occupy a place under the rule of. Wonderful. I prefer inner stand. I will stand firm in my inner knowing. Or I'll just say comprehend. Have a great day. Someone asked me to look up the word miracle, and so I did. And miracle is an example of one of those words that the original definition is different than the definition we are told today. And the thing about that is that words are spells, and the English alphabet is a set of sigils. Some of the most powerful sigils in existence. Sigils are sacred symbols that are created with sacred geometry, felt to have magical powers. And when you cast a spell, you can't change the meaning of the sigil later. So I feel that the original definition sticks with a lot of these words. That's just my personal opinion. So,
If you look up miracle today, it is defined as a surprising event not explicable by natural or scientific laws, considered to be the work of a divine agency, a wondrous work of God, a highly improbable or extraordinary event. But miracle originally meant object of wonder, from mirari in Latin, marvel, wonderful, astonishing, amazing, from the Proto-Indo-European sme, to smile or to laugh. So just something that excites wonder or astonishment. It doesn't at all have to be divinely orchestrated. It's just what I found. Have a great day.
The word alien, according to an etymology dictionary, means strange, foreign, or citizen of a foreign land, and comes from the Proto-Indo-European al, which means beyond. I have heard theorized that the word alien can be broken into a, lie, and in, and people think that that means that aliens are a lie. Possibly, but that doesn't resonate with me. When I look at the word alien, I see a lien. And a lien is the right to hold property of another until a debt is paid. And what I wonder is, what we're calling aliens, is that someone who, a species that humanity has been sold to, or are, is humanity the collateral for some type of debt to this species or these species, possibly multiple ones, that are being called aliens? Thanks for your comment. So when we look at the word parent, as a noun, it means mother, father, ancestor, relative, or kin. It comes directly from the Latin parentum, which means mother, father, or ancestor, which comes from the Proto-Indo-European pere, which means to produce or bring forth. And the words bring forth make me think of bring a spirit forth through an interdimensional portal into this realm of illusion. But that's just me. Now, as a verb, parent means be or act as a parent to. And if you look up parenting, it means the supervision of children. So I don't find that the etymology is as disturbing as just the fact that it can be, you can play with the word parents and it becomes the pair that rents the child back from the system they sold them to with the birth certificate. And if you want a rabbit hole to go down on that, you can research strawman corporations. Have a good day. I used the phrase knock on wood yesterday with my 10-year-old, and she's like, what's that mean? It's like, oh, well, to knock on wood means that you don't want the phrase that you say immediately after knock on wood to come into existence, and our words, create. So when you say knock on wood, that keeps them from being created. Now, what I think of is the trees being the record keepers of the Akashic record. And so when you knock on wood, you're letting them know that, hey, please don't manifest this. But I looked into what the origin of knock on wood is. And supposedly, it's debated, actually. It comes from either an ancient pagan custom where they felt that evil spirits lived in trees and they knock on the wood to keep the evil spirits from listening, or where they felt that good spirits lived in the trees and so they knocked on the wood for protection. Then some argue that knock on wood came around from a 19th century kids game called Tiggy Touchwood, where the players were immune. It was tag, where the players were immune from being caught if they were holding on to a piece of wood, say a door or a tree. I don't know if any of them are the origins, because what intuitively came to mind to me is what I said. But I definitely feel the phrase comes from a older practice than Tiggy Touchwood. Have a great day. On the surface, the word sorry today is defined as feeling distress, especially through sympathy, or feeling regret. However, it began as the Old English serig, which means distressed, grieved, or full of sorrow. Serig came from the Proto-Germanic seriga and saraz, which means pain or painful. And then seriga is also related to Sarah in Proto-Germanic, which means suffering. Therefore, at the root, the word sorry means pain and suffering. Thanks for your comment. A few years ago, I was watching a presentation that a man did that just opened a whole floodgate of like intuitive visions and messages for me once this concept clicked, okay? And it was a presentation on light, and he was showing how sunlight and daylight are not the same thing. And I wholeheartedly agree with that now, but I just never really thought about it before. And so anyways, I was thinking that, a lot of people like to cling to the Bible as proof, of something. Well, does the Bible address this? It actually does. So Genesis, let's just start at the beginning. Genesis 1:1, and this is the King James Version of the Bible. Let's make sure that we got the King James Version. That's not my favorite version, but that is what people know. So, in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. Now, it does not address how God created water, or if this God created water. It was already here. And God said, let there be light. Now, this was the first day, was light. And God saw the light, and that it was good. And God divided the light from the darkness. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. So we've got daylight established, day one. And like what comes to mind for me is a yin and yang symbol. Like you got half of a dark realm, half of a light realm. Duality. And so then the second day, the firmament is created. Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. That's the dome, essentially. So then, the land, and all. So it's the fourth day that the sun, moon, and stars are created. And God said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night. And let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years. And let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth. And it was so. And God made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day and the lesser light to rule the night. So, light, daylight, per the Bible, doesn't come from the sun. Have a good day. So why is it that we greet each other with the word hello? I mean, it has the word hell in it. I mean, you could rearrange it and it's like, oh hell. Is it, oh hell, we're still in hell? Or when we say hello at the beginning of a greeting, does that somehow lower the frequency to a more hell-like state? I mean, the heaven and hell programming is some of the worst programming that has ever hit the collective consciousness. Horrifying eternal damnation is not something that our Supreme Creator actually does. Now, the Anunnaki gods in the Bible, well, that's another story. Have a good day. If you look into the origin of Holy Moly, it is said to come from Holy Moses or Holy Mary. But I had a follower point out to me once, I can't remember who it was, or I'd tag her, Holy Moloch makes the most sense. I tend to agree. Moloch was the Canaanite god of child sacrifice. My middle child is highly intuitive, and one day we were at the dollar store looking at
welcome signs for the front door. And I was wanting to get one for the season. And she's looking at them and she says, Mom, all these signs say welcome. I'm like, yeah. She's like, well, if you hang that on your front door, doesn't that mean anything is welcome to come in? Like even spirits? Huh. You've got a really good point, honey. I think we won't buy one with welcome on it anymore. I mean, that's basically like saying, hey, come in here. Anything's welcome. Have a good day. I don't feel that it is any coincidence that the name Karen is the one that is demonized and used as an insult name today. It has the word care in it. It almost sounds like caring. Now, a Karen started out as someone that was excessive and over the top and someone that was just butting her nose in others' business where it did not belong and things like that. But it's changed over time, and now you will see where someone is standing up for what is right and being called a Karen. I don't think it's any coincidence. They don't want us to care about each other. They want us to have this every man for himself, dog eat dog, Hunger Games mentality. And I don't consent to that. Have a good day. The word solid means a three-dimensional figure as a noun. As an adjective, it's not empty or hollow, firm, dense, or compact. And it comes from the Proto-Indo-European soul that means whole. But when I look at the word solid, I see it a little different. I see soul and id, which soul is the sun, and then id is an item. And it's also an unconscious, the most basic instinctual part of the mind. So a sun item. A solid is a sun item. And I question if this sun is the original sun. If it wasn't the introduction of the sun that's in our sky now, and potentially water that didn't petrify everything. I mean, yes, it gives us life, but is the flesh-eating decay system and all that, is that benevolent? I question it. So basically, a solid is a sun item. I also find it interesting that, it's defined as dense. When someone is dense, they're not very smart. So, like, the more solid things get, the denser. That's not an indicator of that being a good thing. But I don't know. It's just my take for now. So I looked up the word sin. So it comes from the Old English sin, meaning moral wrongdoing, injury, mischief, enmity, feud, guilt, crime, offense against God, or misdeed. From the Proto-Germanic sundio, which means sin, which probably ultimately meant it is true. It's from the Proto-Indo-European sunt ya, a collective form from est ont, which means becoming. Present participle of root s, to be. So essentially at the root, sin means becoming or to be. And there's no one that's going to be in this realm or in this life, in a human body, whatever, without committing some kind of wrongdoing in their life or misdeed. The condemnation of sin, I think, is a way to imbalance the feminine and masculine energies in this realm. Because sin was also an ancient moon god, and the moon represents the divine feminine. So to condemn sin is like pushing down the feminine energy. Meanwhile, Christianity is sun worship, and on Sunday
They worship God, things like that. Jesus Christ is the Son. So that's one way the energies are imbalanced as far as I'm concerned. It's just my take. Thanks for your comment. Etymologists debate the origins of the word alcohol. Some say it comes from alcohol, and others say algol. I'd like to throw alcohol into the mix. Most dictionaries attribute the origin of alcohol to the first, the Arabic word alcohol, or the kohl. Alcohol is a dark cosmetic powder to darken the eyelids. By the late 1600s, alcohol referred to anything obtained through sublimation and distillation, including fluid. The name was applied to spirits created by the distillation of wine and then as the spirit of any fermented liquid. All other meanings were subsequently lost, so today alcohol refers to the intoxicating spirit. The algol theory comes from the Quran. In verse 37:47, the word algol is used, which is defined as demon or spirit, and is actually used in reference to wine. This is where the English word ghoul comes from. Now, I found where some theorize that alcohol also makes sense as the origin. And of all three, alcohol sounds most similar to the actual characteristics of alcohol. The definitions of alcohol are genie or spirit that takes on varied shapes or a supernatural creature in Arabic mythology, and any drug or substance that takes away the mind or covers it. It is no coincidence that alcohol is called spirits. When one blacks out, the spirits you've let in by ingesting alcohol take over your body. Alcohol is also used in alchemy to extract soul essence from organic matter. Alcohol is one of the worst substances in existence, and of course, it's not only legal, but it's even pushed as cool in this inverted reality run by pure evil. Have a great day. When I look at the word energy today, I see it as inner chi. And the chi is our life force energy, and it's inside us. And it's our life force energy that powers this matrix. Thanks for your comment. So if you look up the word entertain in the dictionary today, it says provide someone with amusement or enjoyment. Sounds innocent enough. But if you look it up in an etymology dictionary, the original meaning of entertain, which I feel stays with the word, means to maintain, to keep someone in a certain frame of mind. Interesting. Sounds like mind control. So, if you look at what it comes from enter in Latin, which means among or during. Now, among means in or in the midst of. And so then it comes from tenere as well, which means to hold, possess, to have, or to keep. So in the midst of possessing, in the midst of having someone, in the midst of keeping someone, in the midst of holding, yeah, Again, sounds a lot like mind control. Good old entertainment. Have a good day. Someone asked me to look up the word Bible, and so I did. Somehow I feel like something's missing here. So Bible is said to come from Biblia in Latin, which is any large book. And Biblia originates from biblion, which means paper or scroll. So any book, a book, is what a Bible is. Somehow I'm just not buying that. I didn't come up with anything, though. The only thing that I really noticed is that the word Bible does end in LE, which can be rearranged to EL, which may reference El or the Elohim, who is the God or gods of the Bible. Beyond that, though, I don't know. But I tell you, I feel like something's missing. It's not that simple. This language is too intricate. Have a good day. There is a concept known as Dharma, and Dharma is a set of duties and responsibilities creating the right way of living or the proper way of functioning. Now, Dharma varies by religion. So, let's say the Dharma in your religion is consume no flesh. So, let's say you mistreat other living humans that consume flesh because that book told you to. Does that seem as if that's benefiting society? Seems to me it could be harming the collective consciousness. Now, anything that you do, you will get that back anyways because you are under a karma program as long as you are in this matrix. Karma can be rearranged into a mark or mark A. It is potentially a mark of spiritual enslavement. Have a good day. The word sentient is something that you may hear me use. That's when I'm referring to something that was non-living and then has become living. When I first looked up the word sentient and it says capable of feeling, I thought, well, that may not be the best thing to call these creations because I was equating feeling with emotion and empathy. Turns out the word feeling has nothing to do with emotion or empathy. Feeling is a sense, to feel a sensation, to understand, to have a mental perception. It comes from the Proto-Indo-European pel, which means to drive or to strike. So, something that is sentient is capable of having a perception or capable of understanding. So sentient may be a fine word to use. Still though, I prefer maybe one of the other synonyms. Aware, conscious, reactive, responsive, living. Sentient, I still equate with emotion. I don't know. Have a good day. So when I look at the word water today, I see it as watt-er, as in watts of energy, watts of power, electrical energy. As in, they say water is life. They say blood is life. Is it the water in the blood that's actually the life? In the Bible, it says that God parted the waters to create, this realm, as if the water had always been there. What exactly is water? Is that what holds consciousness? You never know. So, we're often shown movies or TV shows or what have you that says they're based on a true story. Well, we don't question a lot of the time which part is fiction and which part is true. We assume that the extraordinary or outlandish stuff is fiction, but that's not always the case. The way that the game works in this reality is ignorance of the rules is no excuse. Silence is consent. So if you are shown something that is going on in this reality and you don't stand up and say, I do not consent to that, you've approved it. It's a crap rule and the loophole needs argued with upper dimensional management. I was thinking about dreaming. Now, I am a lucid dreamer. I always know when I'm dreaming. I am incredibly blind in this reality, okay? Can't see anything. Like, if you stand in front of the chart and you want to see the big E, I can't even see the chart, okay? So, anyhow, in my dreams, it's crystal clear. It's just very interesting to me. But I was thinking about, we say good morning when we get up. What are we mourning? My theory is we are mourning coming back from interdimensionally traveling in our dreams and back into these meat suits or our prison cells. The body's made of cells. Where do we put prisoners? The body's a prison for the spirit. Have a good day. So I've been thinking about the word electricity, and how, It's said that electricity is a natural force. And if I'm not mistaken, magnetism is felt to be a natural force to this reality as well. And I kind of don't know that anything in this reality is natural. Nature, I mean, maybe biotech. I mean, if this realm is run and created by artificial intelligence can only mimic something already in existence. It can't create on its own. So this may be a duplicate of the real worlds, which is what the Gnostics felt. I think it was, there were 7 heavens and 5 underworlds, and this is one of the underworlds. But anyhow, the word electric is electricity, something that has been done to trick the elect into coming into reality, staying in reality, something like that. I don't know. It's very strange. The word electric comes from amber, and amber is of an unknown origin. I thought of embers as in embers to a fire. I'm not entirely sure that, we're not divine sparks or part of an eternal flame. Have a good day. So when I looked at the word medicine, it means treatment, cure, healing, the art of healing, substance, potion, or plaster used to treat disease. Comes from the Latin medicina, which means the healing art or a remedy. And then medicina comes from the Proto-Indo-European med, which means take appropriate measures. Now, if you look up a remedy is a means of counteracting sin or evil of any kind, a cure for a vice or a temptation. And so if medicine is supposed to be a remedy, and a remedy is supposed to counteract evil, then why is so much of Western medicine arguably evil in itself? I mean, let's just look at pharmaceuticals. I mean, it's always pharmaceuticals that are recommended, which typically treat symptoms, not the root cause. Pharmaceutical comes from the Greek pharmakia, which means sorcery or poison. So I'm just not so sure that Western medicine is a remedy or an art of healing by any stretch of the imagination. But that's what I found on this word. Thanks for suggesting it. Have a good day. Someone did tag me in the video that you're talking about, and I had a video on here about nice on one of my past accounts, but for whatever reason, dissecting words gets you shut down. Anyhow, let's try it again. So the word nice actually originally meant foolish, ignorant, frivolous, senseless, careless, clumsy, weak, poor, needy, simple, stupid, silly, and foolish. As far as I am concerned with these spells and these words, I don't care what you change the word to later. When those 4 sigils, N-I-C-E, were put together for English and the spell was created, it was assigned that this is going to mean foolish, ignorant, silly, and stupid. And that sticks, as far as I know. So when you say, that was nice of him, you're really saying, that was stupid of him. That was foolish of him. Oh, thank you. That's so nice of you. And that's how these inverted meanings, that's one of the ways that these inverted meanings get us casting negative spells on ourselves unknowingly. Thanks for your comment.